By the way, Charles Barkley just came on the show, and Rob Parker said when he was in between jobs one time, one of the first people to call him was?
Charles Barkley, and left a great voicemail message to me. He's just a great guy, so I just heard that. That was great.
Yeah. So I said earlier, when you choose a sport, you're actually choosing a culture that you're comfortable with. Golf. People who golf like the culture of golf, tradition, respectful. Many are over 50. It's not just golf, but you initially felt comfortable with the culture of it. The NBA culture, and I feel comfortable with it, is young, brash, soap opera,
hip.
Loud, music. Well, I'm not hip, but the hipness. I like it in my life. I think it's fun. I take my wife. She loves going to NBA games. So the Drake situation, I know a lot of people are just appalled by it. And I'm like, I've seen this with Spike and Jack and Diane Cannon, and I got Mark Cuban screaming at officials and Steve Ballmer's coming out of his suit. But this bothers you, doesn't it?
I just don't understand. Like, okay, I get it. He's a big Raptors fan. He's from Canada.
Yeah.
It all makes sense, and there's nothing wrong. But now you're going around squeezing the coach's shoulders. What's next, Collins? You going to be in the locker room popping towels after the game? I mean, seriously. It's a little bit over, and I think the NBA should say something to him. You crossed the line. The game is going on. You don't need to do all that. Kind of stay in your seat or stay around where your seat is, and that's fine. We love the enthusiasm. We're not telling you that you shouldn't be thrilled with what's going on. We love you as an NBA fan, but that crossed the line.
By the way, I do feel like the Raptors loved it because it got in Milwaukee's head. Toronto's a veteran team. Milwaukee's a young team. I think Milwaukee got rattled. I think Drake rattled
just from
them.
A little shoulder rub? Is that all it took?
No, I just think they got rattled in that game. I don't think Toronto's that talented after Kawhi, but I think they're full of smart veteran guys.
And yes, I will agree with that. And that they have, even though they had playoff failure, that those teams won a lot of games.
No.
Go look at the last couple of years before Kawhi got there.
Ibaka, Danny Green,
Yes.
Kawhi, Kyle. These are 33-year-old men. Milwaukee's got a lot of 25-year-old kids. And I do think, I want to see tonight, I do think Drake, and I'm not a big believer in give fans credit for wins, but I think he got into Milwaukee's head. Okay. Warriors, make it to 5 finals. Now, come on now. Isn't it time for you, a little bit of a detractor, to acknowledge the greatness of this run?
Is it the greatness of the run or the weakness and watered down of the NBA? And I'll give you the reason why it's not that impressive. The last time it was done was 1966 with the Celtics. Colin, pop quiz. How many teams were there in the NBA?
8.
10. Okay? So my point is, once you had a good team back then, you stayed together. There was no free agency.
Right.
So if you want to go back in sports history, go look. The Yankees made the World Series in the 50s 8 out of 10 years. They had the best team.
Right.
The Montreal Canadiens won every year in hockey. The Green Bay Packers, they had the best team, so they really dominated. For a team to dominate and go to 5 straight NBA finals in a league with 30 teams, it's because the competition balance has been thrown off. This is what I've told you all the time about LeBron James ruining the NBA. And I've said it before, Colin. Yes, he ruined the league from this standpoint.
I don't know. Ruin's very strong.
You ready? So he started MySpace when he went down to Miami with the Big Three.
Right.
And they one-upped him, and they made Facebook when they got Kevin Durant. That's where the balance, that's why LeBron made it to 8 straight NBA finals. This is a bad league with no balance. And this year has been better. The Eastern Conference was much better. I'll give you that with LeBron out of it.
Yeah.
But here we are. Before the season started, everybody knew the Warriors were going to the NBA Finals. Didn't you know?
But I would argue this. Don't we kind of know? I mean, Alabama, Clemson, mark it down. They're in the national championship. Brooks Koepka is going to start winning all the majors. UConn women's basketball, New England Patriots. I'm seeing all I'm seeing now in sports is dynasty. Serena, 12 years of domination. Federer, Djokovic. That's the world we live in. Everybody's we have like 1 or 2 empirical powers they dominate.
See, I don't see it like that. In Major League Baseball, you could talk about the Red Sox winning their World Series. Kansas City won in 2015. The Cubs hadn't won in 100 years. I'm just saying, this spread out of different teams where you don't know for sure. You might have an idea, but you know every year the Warriors are going to be there. I just think that's a bad league. I know everybody can say, oh, the NBA, and you saw the TV ratings for the Eastern Conference are down.
Yeah,
48,
some of that.
But part of it is because of Canada being involved, where they don't count the ratings.
Okay, you at least acknowledge this? I said this about Steph Curry. For a dynasty to last a long time, Duncan, Brady, Steph.
Duncan was not a dynasty. They never won back-to-back championships.
Well, they won 5.
But in 15 years, Colin, that's not a dynasty. You ready? The Parker definition of dynasty is you need to win 3 in a row or 4 out of or 2 in a row, 3 out of 4, or 3 in a row. Something like that where you have at least 2, and then you say you lose 1 year and then you win again.
Okay.
Dallas Cowboys won 3 out of 4. That was a dynasty.
Okay, can you at least acknowledge with Steph, because you've been critical of him, that I'm watching this Gotham Chopra documentary. Dad, teammate, father, his personality. He's the Alka-Seltzer of players. He just brings all the disturbance down. This part of his greatness is his DNA, his personality. He's so dependable. Draymond and KD fought when he was hurt and not in the locker room. Come on, give Steph some love.
I give Steph love on that, all of that. I just think that he's perched a little bit higher than he really is. And this NBA Finals will determine how you look at Steph Curry.
Okay.
If he loses without KD, that would mean that he lost, right, without KD. He also is the author of the 3-1 choke job to the Cavaliers. And that year when they won 73, had not lost 2 games all year and lost 3 straight, including 2 at home to choke that down. And the one championship he did lead them was when Kyrie and Kevin Love were hurt when they beat the Cavaliers. So this is a huge one if you're talking about, we got the numbers. We got all the 3-pointers. Sometimes I look out there, I'm not sure if I'm watching the Harlem Globetrotters play the Washington Generals with the crazy threes. So I get that. He's a great player. He's a great shooter. But I think the perch is way too high. He needs to win this championship.
So you really don't believe his legacy is framed today?
No, not at all. If he loses,
what?
And even the championship they won, he didn't even win the Finals MVP. Colin, look, how many Finals MVPs does he have?
Where are all the other incredible, high-caliber superstar NBA players hiding? Are they not in the league or something? Like, they're in the NBA Finals. They've won. They've beat James Harden. They've beat Chris Paul. They beat
Harden. That team is terrible. Portland wasn't even ready. Portland
compared to who?
If Steph Curry retires, let's just say today he twists his ankle at practice and he says, it's broken, I retire. You don't have Steph Curry as one of the 10 most important players in league history. I'm not... Kareem, LeBron, Michael, Magic.
Some people try to put him and say he's the best small guard.
He's the best shooter in the history of the world.
But here we go. I will give you Isaiah Thomas. I'm talking about Zeke from Detroit.
I like
Not
Isaiah.
Not like Isaiah, all righty? Isaiah beat Magic. He beat Jordan and Bird during his prime. And if not for a bad call against the Lakers, that team would have won 3 straight championships instead of 2. And think about this. He didn't have another top 50 player on his roster. Steph Curry has 4 of them.
No.
Come on now.
Don't make me badmouth Isaiah Thomas.
Don't badmouth Isaiah's better than Steph Curry.
I love Isaiah Thomas. You'll never get me. Isaiah Thomas is, in my life, the best ball handler in league history. The toughest little guy in league history.
No doubt about it.
And no. Isaiah Thomas is big-time talent, right? All I'm saying is you have reduced Steph Curry to a crazy, flippy, floppy Harlem Globetrotter half-court shot.
After some of those shots, I'm waiting for him to throw a bucket of confetti.
I just don't know what's going on. And he's still playing against in the Western Conference Finals. He's playing against the best talent that there is.
Name a player that could score 0.5 and 33 in the second half.
I get it. That was tremendous. But Joy, to answer your question, when you look at that Houston team, none of those guys are winners from the standpoint of winning big. Mike D'Antoni, you remember the teams he had in Phoenix? They could never win.
Well, that's a whole different conversation.
No, but I'm talking about
still
all those guys.
Them.
Chris Paul can't win. James Harden can't win. They can't win. Portland wasn't ready for the Western Conference Finals.
Got Steph Curry. You're basically, he's a specialist.
He's a great player.
Brain surgeons are specialists too. You're going to need a specialist someday when you're 70 in a hospital.
Someday,
Bob Parker,
how about now?
His vitals aren't working. Let's bring in a specialist. You'll like specialists then. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.